Hi, my name is Keunwoo Park and I'm from UIST. Today, I'll present our work, DeepFisheye, a system that tracks multiple fingers near a touchscreen. This is a joint work of UIST and Imperial College London. Most smart devices use a touchscreen as input interface. However, a touchscreen's input space is limited to the size of its physical area. Therefore, some studies have expanded the input space to above the touchscreen, which is a near-surface space. Moreover, some studies have expanded input space to multiple fingers. For example, a smart device can distinguish which finger is contacted on a touchscreen, and each finger can be used as a different input. We wanted to support both interactions with a single technology. A near-surface multi-finger tracking technology, which tracks each finger's locations above the touchscreen, can support both mid-air and finger-aware interactions. We had these four criteria for near-field multi-finger tracking technology for mobile devices. First, it should support various sizes. Second, it should work in various environments. Third, it should have a minimal physical footprint to fit into a smart device. Lastly, it should not require any additional accessory for a user to wear. We thought the vision-based method could satisfy these criteria because current camera modules are very small. However, it is hard to install a camera on a smart device and capture the whole hand's image due to its limited field of view. Therefore, usually a camera is installed at a distance from the interaction space. We solve this issue by using a fisheye camera. A fisheye camera with 180s of field of view can capture the whole hand's image no matter where the hand is located. Now, I'll introduce the DeepFisheye prototype. A fisheye camera is attached to the bottom of the touchscreen. It tracks fingers' locations above the touchscreen using a deep learning model. With the 3D finger joint location data and simple rule-based classifiers, DeepFisheye can classify touching fingers and hand postures. I'll explain the working principle behind the DeepFisheye. Everything starts from a fisheye RGB image. First, it goes through the pix-to-depth network, which converts an RGB image to a depth image. Then it isolates the hand part from the RGB image using the depth image. The two images are combined and fed into the hand pose estimation network. The hand pose estimation network outputs the 3D location of the older joints, and from this output, it is possible to classify contact finger and hand postures. Even though there are many different hand datasets, we could not find the one that with the fisheye images, so we created the fisheye datasets. There are two datasets. The first one is a synthetic dataset. We used a virtual hand model and collected images in the virtual environment. However, when a model was trained with only the synthetic data, it did not perform well with the real images. That is because the synthetic images look different from the real images. The real dataset fills this domain gap. It comprises fisheye images and 3D joint data, which was collected with the lip motion device and the fisheye camera. We trained the deep learning model with the synthetic datasets first and fine-tuned the model with the real dataset. The former process led the network to learn basic knowledge of the shape of the hand and distortion of the fisheye images. Next, the real dataset teaches the network how the real images are different from the synthetic images. We evaluated DeepFisheye through a user test. We recruited 12 participants. We evaluated three things: 3D finger tracking accuracy, contact finger classification accuracy, and hand posture classification accuracy. We collected images from the 4 different locations. The 4 different locations were workshop, cafe, and seminar room, and outside terrace. We chose these locations to consider different background and lighting conditions, and these are the sample images. We analyzed the accuracy of 3 different sizes of areas: large tablet size, small tablet size, and the smartphone size. It doesn't mean that we use 3 different devices, but we analyze data in these target areas. First, let's see fingertip tracking errors. The average Euclidean errors were around 2 cm. The second is finger classification accuracy. The average accuracies were around 83% across the device sizes. The thumb showed high accuracy because it is far from the other fingers. The next one is hand posture classification accuracy. The average accuracy was around 90%. The pinch gesture and point gestures were mostly confused due to its similarity. In conclusion, we proposed DeepFisheye, a near-field finger tracking solution for mobile devices. We evaluated DeepFisheye's tracking and classification accuracies, which proved that DeepFisheye is a feasible concept. We share the code and dataset for other researchers who are interested in hand pose estimation with fisheye images. For the code, datasets, and more information, please visit our GitHub page or our project page. Thank you very much.